Hi and welcome. I'm John and this is Unique Wargaming Terrain. Guys, welcome back. For everyone that's new, this is the Monday painting video. The Monday painting video it's a painting video, but the model in question, or models in question, is voted on by you guys from last week's Weekly Wednesday, which is a Q&A, and whichever has most votes wins. So for all my regulars here, guys, I feel love, thank you very much. I'll see you in a second. So this is the model that won. Well, is one of the ancients. The Space Marine Ancient was voted on, but I have a couple of them. I have one in Terminator Armor that's nowhere near finished, ready to be painted, and there's one from the Dominus box, and there's this amazing model. And I presume this is the one that everyone wanted because of sheer detail on the banner and everything else. It's absolutely fantastic sculpt. So all I've done is I've gravelled the base and then done a Steel Legion dry brush over the top of the stones. So I undercoated black, then done dry Legion dry brush over the stones. So before I start off and show you the wet palette, for everyone that's new and that's seeing this for the first time, this channel for the first time, guys, hit the subscribe button. It costs you absolutely nothing. It helps the channel in a massive way, and turn your notifications on so you don't miss anything. And for everyone else, thank you for voting, thank you for being here. So the wet palette to start with, two usual colours of my Space Marine chapter, Screaming Skull and Corn Red. I have some white scars, I have some Rhinoxide, some Lead Belcher, and I have some Retributor Armour. So the first thing to do is going to be to get some of that lovely Screaming Skull onto the Mini. Now what I'm going to do, because it's mostly covered in ropes, so what I'm going to do is just start getting a thin layer on all the sections that's going to be. The shoulder's going to be difficult because there's all stuff on it, but I'm going to get in there and get some on there. His backpack, but not his helmet, because the character, I'm going to give him a white helmet. Get this backpack done. For those of you that are new to the channel don't know that my Space Marine chapter is a Dark Angel successor chapter, and I've opted for some crazy ass way of painting it, crazy ass colours on it. They just seem to take forever to do. So I'm going to crack on and do the first coat of Screaming Skull on the exposed armour pieces that I need. So I gave it a once over, and then I went over and just touched up here and there just to try and brighten it up a little bit more. It's not the final coat, but now I'm going to get some Rhinoxide. I'm going to take care of all of these robes, lock in all of this robe. He has a leather pouch at the side of him, so I'm going to get all of this. So all these leather pouches and every single bit of these robes hanging down, including the hood on himself. So I'm going to go off camera and do the rest of that. You don't need to sit and watch me paint all the robe on him. No, I forgot to say to you, I actually gave his face a little dusting and white of Screaming Skull as well, just to brighten it up. And I'm going to come in with some more white scars. The reason I did this the first time is just to show you the difference. I'm going to come in and do the back of the banner. Every part of the banner, I'm going to just give it a quick once over. What I'm also going to do, on the front of the banner, and all the bits that are cloth I'm going to paint with Screaming Skull. I'm also going to come in and paint the wings with Screaming Skull. There's a good reason for this, you'll find out in a little bit. All these bits of cloth here So without knocking the camera with the paintbrush. All of these wings, all of the cloth. I'm going to go off camera and do that. What I'm also going to do then is come back over the hands and the arms and a little bit of shoulder pad and just give them a second coat of Screaming Skull. And we have something like this, looking absolutely fantastic. What I did with the excess bit of paint on the brush, I just brushed it down the bottom here. Yeah. So then when I go to the next stage, this bit's going to be lighter and stuff like that. So the second coat on the arm and stuff. But to make that pop, we're going to go with the corn red, which is my chapter's other colour. I'm going to come in and I'm going to do all the armour panels on the other side, which isn't very many. There's a little bit of his pauldron here. There's a paint in the back side because it's going to be, there's a Dark Angel symbol on there. And his little foot. So you don't need to see me do it on camera. I'm going to do it off camera and come back to you. Now I'm going to come in. Let me give you a quick look. You can see this post is not quite right. I've gone a bit wonky on it. A bit over to the Screaming Skull side too much, but I do have to dry and just touch up a little bit. Now I'm going to go with some lead belcher. And I'm going to come in. This chainsaw's going to get done first of all. Those who are regulars here know I don't go too mad on weaponry, just usually something very simple just to make it stand out from the model but not overpower the model. So we're going to do a lead belcher, just dry brush along this, the handle and the hand guard. Then I'm going to come through and I'm going to pick out, give this banner pole a quick little sort of dry brush. Now when you're doing circular things like this, you're best off just follow it. Don't do up and down, just follow it around like this. Yeah. And then when you want to do this side, you do the same thing, but you do it from this angle. The same again this side. Because if you do it up and down, you'll have lots of little streaky bits, but if you do it from side to side, it looks like not only does it look better, it looks like it's worn from being handled all the time. And the air vents. Can't see none of his arm sockets or anything like that, so that's good. But then what I need to do then is I need to look at the banner and decide, is there anything else that I'm going to do metallic? He's also got a few bits on his belt there that I'm going to do metallic. So I'm going to sort all that out and then come back to you and show you where we're at. So here we're at. See, the chainsaw isn't, oh, it's amazing. It's just a simple paint job. Now I've got some Reikland Flesh shade. And I'm going to come in and I'm going to paint the wings on the banner. So I'm going to get into all those recesses on it. So there we're at, that's where we're at now. The next painstaking thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get the Retributor armor and this is very painstaking now. I'm going to paint things like this on his shoulder pad, gently paint that. I'm going to look at this banner itself and what bits I can paint, like the iron halo on top of the character on there. The writing on the bottom here is going to be done with gold. The bottom of the banner here, there's all nice little symbols that's going to be painted gold. So the banner really stands out. I'm going to crack on with that off camera. It's a lot of tedious work there, and I'll come back to you with that now. Right, so next thing I'm going to do, I'm actually going to go back to a Raglan Fresh Shade, and all the ropes I'm going to tidy them up as well, just with a Raglan Fresh Shade, just to gives them a nice little colour. As you can see, the wings look absolutely amazing, but there's still, the shade is still a little bit wet in the middle, in the recess bit there, so I need to wait for it to dry. I got a little bit carried away with myself as well. The little man in the middle is actually, I painted him Vulcan Green, just a very thin coat, and there were some skulls at the bottom. I didn't realise it until I got to there, and I was like, oh, hold on. So I painted this, gave them a little screaming skull, but I got carried away with the man, so I do apologise. But here's a look at all the gold, which would be armour, shall I say. The little guy on top. All of that, looking amazing. Now the back of the banner looks really like, ooh, but there's no panic for that, because that's essentially better already, with the exception of the few purity seals he has on the back of him. His backpack there, and there's a few on the banner. That's essentially better already. I mean, even his face, I wanted to have it white, but even like that, it looks perfectly fine. Yeah, that's just one of the bit, or one layer of Screaming Skull, and then a bit of Screaming Skull left on the brush, just going over the top of it. But if you're new here, you're gonna love this bit now. If you're regular here, you know what's coming next. I'm going to take it past Battle Ready Standard. So that's Battle Ready Standard. I'm going to take it past that. I'm going to leave it 5 minutes or so for the Raglan Fresh Shade to dry. But whilst I'm doing that, I'm going to just do the ropes, and then leave all that to dry and then come back to it. So whilst I'm waiting for that to dry, I've put some Wazdakha Red onto the layer palette. Wazdakha Red is a layer paint, so it'll go on bright and dull itself down. I'm going to come in, just highlight all the red up. What this layer paint does as well is, because it dulls down, it's going to give me a nice little blend between the two reds. I should focus on the model and stop trying to focus on my hand. So again, get that bit as well. This is going to be the pain in the backside part getting in here. It doesn't have to be perfect, just a little bit in there. Just to really make it stand out and pop. Yeah. Let's get the hand as well. Give this a little bit more. Now, of course, if you do use a layer paint and you're not happy with it, let me just show you. Look at the back of that backpack on the white scars, the Screaming Skull. So it doesn't look too. I'm not too happy with that now, looking at it from this angle. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to come in and give that just another little piece along there. You'll see what I'm talking about. Just along there's a few little black bits coming through. I'm going to get rid of those. Now it's time to come in with some white scars. The first thing I'm going to do is just bring it in, start trying to get the bigger areas. Now white scars is a layer paint, so it will go on bright and dull itself down. And now does this white dull itself down. If you're doing dry brushing and stuff, which I'll show you in a minute, with this colour, it's absolutely perfect. But when you're trying to bring something up to be white, it's very difficult. I mean, that's pretty good. It's pretty good going. as it looks at the moment, but I see when it's dry, because it'll dull itself right down. The shade's still not dry yet, no. Right, so I'm going to leave it a few more minutes to dry, because the shade is still not quite dry on the wings, but looking absolutely fantastic. Right, so now I've got some Eldari Emerald contrast paint. I don't want too much on the brush, but what I'm going to do is come in, start doing all the cloth sections. Just try and cut in as much as I can without hitting anything. Now if you wanted to, before you come to the contrast stage of the cloth, you could take some white scars and just do edge highlighting on it and stuff like that. And what that will do, when you put the contrast paint on, it will really highlight those areas with very little effort from yourself. I'm going to carry on and do the rest of the banner, but that's how we're looking so far. So here we are. Contrast paint is still wet, but just be careful that it doesn't start pulling down because it's a vertical surface. So now what I've got is a very thin amount of white scars on my brush, and I'm going to gently sort of feather it down like this along all of the raised areas on the cloak, on the robe shall I say. I'm going to crack on to the rest of it off camera so you can come back and see it. So here we are. Now it still looks bright because I've just put it on, but it will die itself down, you won't notice it. But what someone asked me, how do I get that effect on the edge of the hood along there? All I do, because this face is white scars, I just flick it on. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a bit more white scars. Hopefully this is ready for me. And I'm going to just dry brush along the wing. So all I want is the wing. The green's not quite dry yet. I'm just going to dry brush along the wing as gently as possible. The idea is that the shade will just stay in that recess and make it really pop. Don't know if I've done any justice there, but we'll crack on. I think this side's more defined than the other side anyway, so we'll soon see what the story is. I don't know if I've done any justice. I don't know. Could have messed it up. Could have messed those wings up, I think. I don't know. Still looks great, but I think it was maybe better before I did the white tube. Anyway, I'll leave it to dry and come back and look at it. No, I'm not too happy with the way it's come out. But anyway, I've got some, right, knocking the camera, the paintbrush again. I have some Flanix yellow, and I'm going to just give this brazier a little, well, this brazier looks like a torch. Going to give it a quick once in there. Now, Flanix yellow is a layer paint, so it will dull itself down again. No panic. Because I already painted it silver, as that dulls itself down, it's going to give it a metallic-y, yellowy look. So what I'm going to do now, I'm actually going to get that Raglan Flesh shade and go back into the wings again, because I'm just not happy with that. It didn't come out the way I wanted it. Now, this wing, this side, you can see the one on the right and the inside, you can see along the recess there, the Raglan Flesh shade is coming through. It's looking nice, but just the rest of it didn't quite take. So no, anyway. No, I've just had to leave it. I don't know what I'm doing yet still, to be honest. So now coming with some Lothern Blue. I'm going to pick out those purity seals. So why you come with Lothern Blue for purity seals? Because when I paint my Space Marines, sometimes the purity seal is on the red side of the Space Marine. So what happens then is you don't notice it. So this way at least you notice it. I know what I'm going to do those wings now. I know what I'm going to do. I'll back to you in a second. Right, so here's what I've done. I've got some white scars. And I came in, just tried to edge, highlight along the edge there. So what that does is that breaks the middle, the outside edge has been really bright and vibrant, and the inside then gives it shade without having to do very much at all. The painstaking thing is you have to do it on each feather, each wing part. So even this middle part, it looks like it just merges into one. But I think this, where it looks like it merges into one, is because of its fine cast. It's just not the greatest. I don't like fine cast. A lot of you don't like them either. Be so glad when they finally get rid of them. Yeah, that's how we get rid of that one. Now the next thing we do, and this is the last thing we're going to do. Well, I say last thing. Hold on. I could get some moot green into the eyes if I wanted to. Yeah, or I could go with some like Talizar blue or something into the eyes or something like that. I'm not going to. I don't need to. I think he looks quite menacing enough as it is. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to get some Niblet green. This is a dry paint. Okay. Now, if you're like me, the first time you look at this, you go, what the hell's that? It looks like sludge. It looks like rubbish. But I promise you 100%, this is a brilliant paint. As far as I know, these I've only used Niblet green dry, so I can't testify to the others, but this Niblet green is absolutely fantastic. Yeah, it looks like horrible, yeah, but because it's dry brush paint, as soon as you put it on the paper, it goes all fantastic. So I dry brush a lot of it off, and here's what I'm going to do. This brush might be a bit too big. I'm going to come in and I'm going to dry brush those bits that I done with Dark Angels, with Vulcan green. Just want to get the top of this man, all the raised areas, just to give me a nice you can see the light bits of green on it, especially on the shoulders, and focus on this. Anyway, I'm going to do a bit more, just because I want it to be course, if you're trying to do like green light, that's a perfect way of doing it. Yeah. I have to stop myself now because I'm going a bit too far. I'm going a bit too much now. But there we have it. So that's what it looks like. Come on, focus in. Looks horrible and sludgy and horrible, but trust me, once you take it, I'll take some off here, yeah. Then I'll bring the tissue up and watch this. It looks horrible in there. As soon as you start putting it on there, it turns like a lovely little paste. Absolutely brilliant. I love layer paint. I'm always going to love layer paint because I think they're brilliant, but I do like the dry paints. Unfortunately, I only have the one, which is Nibbler Green. Every time I go to the model shop, I forget to pick more up. Every time I look on Air Hobbies and get stuff from there, I forget to order more dry paint in. Because the paints, it's an alphabetical order when you go on Air Hobbies. So you don't have Citadel paints, you have Citadel base colours. You have, like, say, base colours, and then you have, you know, this paint and that paint and contrast paint, and I just get so confused and just distracted looking at the crazy amount of things they have on their website. But thank you for watching, guys. Again, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please hit the subscribe button. It costs you absolutely nothing, but it means a hell of a lot to me, and it helps the channel out massively. And turn your notifications on, because you don't miss nothing then. Because we don't just do painting videos, we do Let's Build videos, we do, you know, weekly Q&A. I mean, I'm surprised nobody voted on this guy to be painted up this week, the Rogel Dawn. But anyway, they're still there. But you know, we did lots of different things. So guys, thank you for watching. Thank everyone for watching, and thanks everyone for all of you guys for supporting this channel. It means a hell of a lot to me. And I'm going to bring you down and show you some pretty pictures. If you have any comments or anything you want to say, check on below. And everyone, please smash the thumbs up button, because then it triggers YouTube to share this video with more people, which makes the channel grow more. So until next time, guys, pretty pictures. But until next time, take it easy.